Hey everyone, this is Austin Moore. I'm back with another basketball video. Today we got my first 2024 March Madness bracket. We're starting off on the east side. We'll run through this kind of quick, but not too quick. UConn over Stetson. It's an easy one for me. This one, FAU versus Northwestern's a little harder, but I do like Northwestern a little over FAU. They did have a big run last year, but I got Northwestern beating them. Northwestern has beaten some very good teams. Then we have a 15, a 12 and 5 seeds. 5 seeds have won against 12 seeds at least one game out of the last 32 out of the last 38 years. Um, but we are going to have San Diego State win this one. Then we're going to move on to Auburn and Yale. I like Auburn. Auburn is the best 4 seed, in my opinion, by a long shot. I've got them moving up. Then we got BYU versus DeQuesson. BYU's had a great season since joining the Big 12. Their offense has been great. DeQuesson does have LeBron James, old high school coach, but I'm still moving on with BYU. Illinois versus Moorhead. We got Illinois. We haven't really had an upset yet, but we're not. Yeah, not counting Northwestern as an upset. Illinois moves on. Washington State versus Drake. You could pick Drake, but I'm going to pick Washington State. Then we're going to have Iowa State versus South Dakota. So at least one 15th seed um, has won out of the last 3 years. Iowa State. Iowa State's one of my favorite teams in this whole thing. Um, so yeah, that's it for the East. So now we're gonna move down to the West. We got North Carolina versus we'll say Howard. North Carolina. I don't think a 16 seed's gonna win. Only one has. Then we're gonna pick Michigan State over Mississippi State. I'm not a big fan of Mississippi State. Michigan State. Tom Izzo is gonna get the one here. Then we're gonna get St. Mary's versus Grand Canyon. I do like Grand Canyon. I think this could be an upset, but St. Mary's defense is gonna pull it off. They do. Grand Canyon does have a NBA player in my eyes on the team, but St. Mary's pulls it off. Alabama versus Charleston. We're going with the upset here. This one is really tough for me because I want Grant Nelson to do good in this, but Charleston moves on. Then we got Clemson versus New Mexico. I want TJ Hall to do good, but New Mexico has been on fire lately. I got New Mexico beating them. Then we got number 3 Baylor versus number 14 Colgate. I got Baylor moving on. Jacoby Walter, Missy, Bridges, they're all doing good. I think they will pass the first round against Colgate. Then we got Dayton versus Nevada. Dayton hasn't been doing good. They did not close out the season well at all, the regular season. So Nevada does move on though. Then we got Arizona versus Long Beach State. Long Beach State, their coach did get fired, but they letting him coach through the postseason, and he did win their conference championship. Oh, we do have Arizona beating them. So that's it for that side. We're just gonna go up. We're gonna move. Yeah, we're just gonna start going the Sweet 16. Then we have UConn versus Northwestern. UConn's winning it. It's a mismatch down low in my opinion. I just don't see UConn losing that. Then we have San Diego State versus Auburn. San Diego State's just not as good as last year. Auburn's fantastic. I'm going with Auburn. They're a great team. They work hard. BYU versus Illinois. I want BYU to do good, but it's just Illinois' powerhouse for a 3 seed. They're very good. Washington State versus Iowa State. Terrence Shannon again. Iowa State's one of my favorite teams. I'm going Iowa State. I know this is not one, two, three, four. Isn't crazy, but that's where we're rolling with. UConn versus Auburn. We're going with UConn on this. UConn's UConn. I just really want to see also Klingon and Stephon Castle play. Go all the way through this. Then we have Illinois versus Iowa State. I'm going Iowa State. Iowa State's one of my favorite teams again. They have a very underrated Momcilovic freshman on the team. That's and that, I mean he's not going to carry them, but I still want them there, and I think they could get there. Then we're gonna have them go to the championship. the Final Four. I mean, um, and then we're gonna move back down. North Carolina versus Michigan State. I'm going with North Carolina here. St. Mary's versus Charleston. Again, St. Mary's, their defense is just too good for Charleston, in my opinion. Seriously, one of the best defenses St. Mary's has had in a while. Baylor versus New Mexico. Baylor. New Mexico definitely could be an upset there. I definitely could see that. Nevada versus Arizona. I gotta go Arizona again. So we have the 1, 2, 3, and 5. Not looking really realistic for March Madness, but March Madness is not realistic. We all gotta be like truthful about that. It's just not realistic. You never know. But we got North Carolina versus St. Mary's. I'm going St. Mary's winning it. It's crazy because I really could have Grand Canyon beating them there, and they're going all the way to the Elite Eight. Um, but here we got Baylor versus Arizona. I'm going Baylor on this one, and then we're gonna have Baylor beat St. Mary's, which is hard for me to do. So we have Baylor versus Iowa State. I might giving it away, but I'm having Iowa State move on to the championship. Okay, now we're going up to the south side of the bracket. Starting the first round, we got Houston beating Longwood. Nothing to say about that. Nebraska versus A&M. I like Will Taylor, but Nebraska pulls it off. Wisconsin versus James Madison. I'm getting a Cinderella story going here. James Madison is one of the only teams with 30 wins this season. Wisconsin did not close out the regular season good at all. I'm going with James Madison winning that. Duke versus Vermont. I just don't see Duke losing first round. There's just no way. Filipowski's gotta win that. Then we got Texas Tech versus NC State. I'm not a fan of either of these teams necessarily. I mean, yeah, of course, Big 12 is very, very, very packed. I think they could have even had 10 teams in this tournament. I think OU and Kansas State may have been able to make it, but we're going Texas Tech on this. Then we have Kentucky versus Oakland. I'm going to Kentucky. They're one of my favorite teams in this whole tournament easily. They have so many NBA talent. They have like, Reeves, Dillingham, Shepard, Onyenso, Hero, Bradshaw, DJ Wagner, um, Edwards, Avicic, just I don't even know, 8 or 9 guys I just named there. I think all of them could be in the NBA someday soon. But yeah, going to Kentucky with that. Then we have Boise State versus Colorado. I think Colorado is going to win this. Yeah, won the first 4 games. Usually a team goes out and wins this, and I'm having Colorado win against Boise State. And I'm having them beat Florida. That was an upset in my opinion too. Florida is the best rebounding team in college basketball, but Colorado is super underrated in my opinion. They're healthy now. Cody Williams is healthy again. Silva's awesome. Simpson's awesome. Then we have Marquette, who I think is not that great up for a 2 seed. Western Kentucky, not a great, not a great team either. They did not do good to close out the season. Well, but I'm having Marquette move forward. I think they're just a little too much for Western Kentucky. Then we're moving down to the Midwest. Purdue versus Montana State. Yeah, Montana State's probably gonna be Grambling. Then we have TCU versus Utah State. I'm going TCU. I'm going another Big 12 team. I think they're gonna win. Utah State has done pretty decent this year, though. Another underrated team, I think Gonzaga. I don't think they're great, but I think they're dogged down a little bit too much. I'm going over them. McNeese is another team that's won 30 plus games. I definitely could see this upset for sure. Kansas versus Samford. Kansas, Dickinson's supposed to be back. McCullough's probably going to be back, but if they get Dickinson, even if McCullough doesn't play, I still take Kansas over Samford. It definitely could be an upset, though. Watch out for that. At South Carolina versus Oregon, I'm going to Oregon. Red hot Oregon on here. South Carolina, I like Boyles, another NBA talent, freshman, kind of came out of nowhere. But we got Oregon with this upset. Creighton versus Akron. I got Creighton all day on that. Just, oh my Gosh, excuse me. Wow. UVA, Virginia versus Texas. I'm going with Texas. I definitely think Virginia could win. I kind of want to see Ryan Dunn. I want to see what he kind of can do in this. Um, Prove to scouts that he's not just a defensive guy, you know he is, but he can do something. This could definitely be an upset. Tennessee versus St. Peter's, even though I really like Tennessee. I like Connect. Ziegler. St. Peter's probably the best 15 seed in my opinion, but we're going Tennessee on this one. We'll stay down here. Texas versus Tennessee. I'll go Tennessee on this one again. Not upset. Now we're upsetting. Oregon. We're picking Oregon on this one. We gotta get upset going on that. Then we gotta go Gonzaga versus Kansas. I think Dickinson and McCullough will be pretty healthy by then. We're going Kansas right there, and then Purdue versus TCU. We got Purdue. Zach Edey is mad that they lost last year in the first round against a 16 seed or whatever it was. Then we got Purdue versus Kansas. We got Purdue winning that, and then Tennessee versus Purdue. Yeah. Tennessee. Tennessee wins that. Then I'm gonna pick Tennessee to beat Purdue. So we have, and then we're gonna yeah. So Marquette versus Colorado. I have Colorado beat Marquette. Again, I'm not a big fan of Marquette. So, and I think again Colorado is very underrated. Oh my word! Really, that's crazy. Hope that did not bust y'all's eardrums. Then we got Kentucky versus Texas Tech. I'm gonna go Kentucky on this one. Again, love watching them. I think they could do really good in this. Better than people think. They are young, but they definitely do got that senior talent. Then we got Duke versus James Madison. Again, I kind of want to pick James Madison, but I'm not. I'm just not going to. It's hard not to pick Duke here. Houston easy for me on that one. So we have Houston versus Duke. Houston all the way, and then Kentucky versus Colorado. I'm going Kentucky. So, man. So Houston or Kentucky? I'm going Houston. Houston just too good. They remind me a lot of that Virginia team. They play at their own pace, so slow. LJ Cryer is pretty underrated in my opinion. I can't believe he's not talked about in the draft. I know his efficiency isn't the best, but and he's a little smaller. He's about 6'1", but I really do think he could be at least serviceable in the NBA. I have Houston moving on. I know this is the Big 12 championship, but that's all right with me. How many points will be scored in this? We'll go 154. But yeah. We'll do that. We'll do that. That is my bracket. We're having Houston win it. I will have other ones. I may post them. I probably will. We'll see about that. It would be out tomorrow. But yeah, that is my bracket. My first one of the 2024 March Madness. Houston wins it, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.